Hey, welcome back. In today's episode, I'm going to show you an interesting clip from Tom Lee. As some of you may know, he is Fundstrat's Global Chief Investment Officer. And I'm going to show you a 2-minute clip from this gentleman because he's actually raised some rather interesting price predictions for Bitcoin. Also some interesting insights in the aftermath of the Genius Act approval around stablecoins and Ethereum and potentially other technology smart contracts, blockchains. So let's jump into the 2-minute clip, and then I'm going to round off with my own personal takes and thoughts. So enjoy the clip.
Here we are, 120 basically on Bitcoin, which you used to say at 70, and you know that was a 60% move or something that you were forecasting as within the next couple of months, or at least this year. Here we are now, what, 150?
I think the 200 to 250,000 for Bitcoin still makes sense because that would still only value it at 25% of the size of the gold market.
Okay.
So I think digital gold means Bitcoin should be worth over $1 million per Bitcoin, and it could happen in the next few years. But maybe pricing 25% of that, especially with Genius Act, makes sense.
Are you going to, I don't know, start making comments and recommendations about stablecoins?
Yes. I mean, in a sense, stablecoins are the ChatGPT moment for crypto because businesses like it and consumers are adopting it. And now we see JP Morgan and Citi and getting into the stablecoin market, and the Genius Act, of course,
How would you play that?
Well, Circle is one way because it is, a standout company. They've done really well. But Ethereum is really the way to play stablecoins because the majority of stablecoins are created on Ethereum. It's over 30% of its network fees. And if Scott Bessent's right in it, he says now it's close to a $4 trillion market. That's exponential growth for Ethereum.
Ether has taken off recently. It was down at 1,700 or something like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yes.
Now it's back almost, 36 or something?
That's right. And I know Mark Newton, our head of technicals, thinks it's 5,000's doable near term, but if you value it similar to Circle, it's more between 10 and 20,000.
So rather interesting take from Tom Lee. I've been following him for quite a few years now, and he's one of the very few analysts that I've ever come across where he's kind of nailed it in terms of his insights and his price predictions. Now, I always said that you should always take price predictions from whoever with a pinch of salt. But with this guy, I mean, I think everyone is impressed and he's credible. He is highly regarded out there, particularly in TradeFi, but also in the crypto investment space. So I want to go through what he's raised for me as the most important aspect. And it's to do with the aftermath of the Genius Act approval from Trump last week. And what would that mean for stablecoins? Now, I've actually have explained the repercussions, so I'm not going to repeat those. You can always subscribe to my channel and just review those couple of videos that I've issued last week. That will give you the details of that. But in terms of the aftermath, is rather clear that the stablecoins are here to stay, and it's like a virus. Once it's been approved, and when people start to use it, it will have that ripple effect on the rest of the user base. Predominantly it's going to be retail users, which I would expect the lion's share of customers to use stablecoins, even for those that are in impoverished pockets of population in the world, the unbanked, debanked. So it transcends the global economy in that it's really a digital payments rail system connecting everyone, all the users, all the human beings on the planet to be able to transact and trade with each other without having to worry about the shortfalls of SWIFT, Visa, bank-to-bank payments. I'm not going to repeat the benefits that stablecoins provide on the blockchain. You've got a few videos of mine in my channel that will give you that, a lowdown if you like. But it's fair to say that it is true. And if you think about under the covers in terms of what type of blockchains exist today that actually play an important pivotal role in the creation of these stablecoin tokens, these digital currencies like Tether, like Circle, which are the two main elephants in the room in the stablecoin space. And I'll show you the chart that you got here. But before I do so, it's clear that the smart contract programmable blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, are going to be important in how new stablecoin token issuers are going to be coming out onto the fore, because Ethereum predominantly is the main L1 blockchain system, including the L2s like Arbitrum, Polygon, and so on. Those are the smart contract programmable blockchain systems that exist today that are ultimately responsible for creating these stablecoin digital currencies on the blockchain. And it's for that reason he feels that investing perhaps in some of these smart contract programmable blockchains could perhaps be another interesting type of investment that you ought to do your investment and research before you actually part some of your fiat cash into those smart contract tokens like Ethereum, Solana. So it's hardly surprising that he's made that insight. And he's given some predictions on the ETH. It's currently hovering around, I think, $3,700 per coin. And he's made some predictions, short-term predictions of $5,000 perhaps by the end of this year, and maybe up to 10 to 20K in the foreseeable future. But leaving that aside, what's most striking is the price prediction he's made for Bitcoin, which I'm mostly interested in. He's made some interesting predictions around between 200 and 250,000 by the end of this year, 2025. And what's really striking, and I never expected this, is he's made a prediction of over $1 million per coin, perhaps as soon as the next few years. Now, like I said, I don't really pay attention to any predictions, but when it comes to Tom Lee, I would take it as a sign of optimism because, like I said in the outset, he is one of the very few chaps that is deemed credible by the industry, by TradeFi, by crypto investors, and there's a lot of followers. So making this kind of interesting revelation where he feels we could actually see that golden $1 million per Bitcoin price in the next few years is really, really bullish. It's the ultimate bullish sentiment I've ever seen. So it's really interesting. A revelation is made there. Now, I want to end this episode to show you why he thinks that stablecoins, and particularly Ethereum and Solana, would start to become more mainstream as a result of the approval of this Genius Act. So currently, I found another interesting resource called RWA.xyz, because I've been following this resource for several months now. And currently, the market cap globally for stablecoins is almost $250 billion. So in the clip from Tom, he made a mention that Scott Bessent, who is like the US Treasury Secretary, where he feels that as a result of the Genius Act bill approval, we could actually see a market cap of stablecoins around the $4 trillion mark. It's currently $250 billion as shown here, and this is live chain data in the last 30 days, so it gets updated every month, and it goes on and makes the breakdown. Well, who are the major private issuing firms in stablecoins? As I said in many of my videos, Tether is the largest. It actually has almost 160 billion out of 250 billion in market caps of assets under management of Tether fiat-backed stablecoin, followed by Circle, which is the number 2, almost 62 billion. And you've got some other mid-tip small players that are just starting out in the stablecoin market. So these are all private issuers of stablecoins, fundamentally fiat-backed stablecoin issuers. And like I said, this Genius Act is really going to pave the way for bringing an increased demand for fiat wealth into the digital rail system through these stablecoins. So it's not surprising that Tom has made, and rightfully so, that prediction that the likes of Ethereum, and I wouldn't limit just on Ethereum, but Solana, which is another competitor to Ethereum, as that leading smart contract blockchain systems that's going to help these private issuing firms to create their stablecoins on the blockchain. So that's really where I want to leave today's episode, is stablecoins is going to be hot. Smart contract programmable blockchain is going to be hotter than ever before. And if you couple that with Bitcoin as being that ultimate digital commodity, I think between these three categories of digital asset tokens is really going to be a worthwhile moment to do your investigation and part some of your portfolio wealth into these three areas, because it makes total sense with what Tom has just said. So that's what I'd like to leave you today. And incidentally, if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit the like button, to share the video to colleagues, friends and family. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, as I regularly publish some interesting videos such as these, anything to do with Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and the future finance. So till next time.